Clearing relationship wounds. Relationship wounds, also known as attachment injuries, are deep emotional hurts within a relationship that can lead to feelings of fear, insecurity, and difficulty forming and maintaining healthy connections. These wounds can stem from various experiences like betrayal, neglect, abuse, or unresolved conflicts. Healing from these wounds is possible through self-awareness, open communication, and, in some cases, professional support. While relationship wounds may have their root in early attachment and adverse childhood experiences, this clearing focuses more on adult relationships. Being in a relationship often means allowing someone close enough to see not just our best moments, but also our vulnerabilities. Among these vulnerabilities are the old wounds we carry with us, past hurts, betrayals, or traumas that, when revisited, can elicit a profound sense of unease. When such a wound resurfaces in the context of a romantic relationship, it may be accompanied by a sort of apprehension. This apprehensiveness, which may get projected onto a new love object, arises from the realization that experiences, which might not have been adequately processed or healed, could adversely impact the present relationship. For example, you might find yourself questioning the triggers, trying to decipher the reasons behind this resurfacing pain, and seeking ways to interrupt this recurring cycle. Relationship wounds, much like physical ones, can vary in intensity and complexity. Some are minor abrasions, while others scar, penetrating deeper layers of our psyche. For these deeper, more persistent wounds, time or distraction alone are seldom sufficient for healing. They often require more deliberate conscious work and introspection to truly process the root cause and associated emotions. Moreover, navigating this healing process can be overwhelming, which is why subconscious clearing work like SRT can be invaluable, as well as seeking the assistance of a traditional or holistic therapist, NLT practitioner, energy psychologist, or somatic healer. Such practitioners provide guidance, support, and the necessary tools to delve into these wounds, enabling individuals to understand, process, find resolution, and potentially closure. Spiritual response therapy is a very good system for clearing relationship wounds and attachment injuries. For more information about how to be trained in SRT, see spiritualresponse.org. Transforming Blockages is another useful multidimensional system for healing unconscious wounds and traumas. For more information, please see Jill and Remi's webinar series at Twin Flame Healers and QuantumUnion.com. And as always, please remember to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I appreciate the energy exchange. Hello, this is the Lady of Shalott, and welcome to this group SRT clearing on relationship wounds. So I have assembled a group body for the purpose of this work, and I have prepped it to work off camera as usual. And by group body, I'm defining that as all listeners to this recording now and in the future, the lineages you're connected to. So these may be biological lineages with whom you share DNA, but also non-biological lineages, cultural, symbolic, religious, non-religious lineages you may be connected to. And I've also included members of your immediate soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, and all of our high self teams committees. Okay, so let's get into the work, and we'll start by getting a positive negative number on relationship wounds. What is the positive on that, please? 50, and what is the negative? It's about 80, okay. And the level of consciousness vis-a-vis relationship wounds is sitting at about universal God consciousness, which is about a third of the way up along the first page of chart 3. Okay, so that's an interesting level to start this clearing from today. Earlier clearings have focused more on themes related to the lower 3 chakras, such as healing childhood trauma, ancestral or generational karma clearing, and patterns of codependency and low self-esteem. If you have been subscribed to this channel, this may imply that you've released some density in the process of connecting with this work and that your base vibration has risen. Good job! As I noted in the introduction, this clearing is going to be more focused on the karmic themes related to the heart chakra. Although the wound may have its roots in early childhood, the intent of this clearing is to resolve relationship wounds that happened in our adult life. This could be a wound that goes back to your first love, however, which may have still been when you were a young adult or teenager. The emotional baggage sustained by our relationship wounds may also be influencing us from our lineage body or from our soul's past life personal history. So let's go ahead and raise that positive negative number from 40 positive, 80 negative to 100% positive, 0% negative, from that of universal God consciousness all the way up to radiant love, new paradigm. Now I'm starting to douse on that, and you may hear my pendulum clicking in the background. I'm starting to lay in some clearing statements. And it's not important for you to know what all these things mean. Just sit back and receive. Clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3. All elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities. Clear from inception to present time and into the future. Clear all duplicates, copies, backups, rebuilding, replication programs. Clear mirror images and meld the mirrors. Clear all other programs that may trigger these. Clear anything hidden, buried, covered up, lied about, denied, cursed, or avoided. Body memory, memory impingements, emotional impingements even. Anything else the soul may be hiding vis-a-vis relationship wounds. And please clear this in 0 time. Again, for all listeners to this recording, now and in the future, the lineages they're connected to, clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. And if it's also appropriate to clear between them and their person, let's ask that that be done too. Although the light will know where to go. This isn't just necessarily resolving relationship wounds between you and your current partner. It's working across our relationship karma through all 7 realities and that of our lineages. And while we're clearing a little bit more about universal God consciousness from the SRT dictionary, the arrows at universal God consciousness on chart 3 indicate that when a soul reaches that level, there are many paths it can travel in the ongoing process of soul growth. As Jesus said, "In my Father's house, there are many mansions, levels, and paths." Souls at this level take part in the formation and manifestation of the physical universe, galaxies, and planets. If betrayal is running as a master program, let's ask to burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear abandonment, rejection, or conflict. Burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. Vengefulness, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If they're running as soul programs, let's ask to clear sexual promiscuity or infidelity. Burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. Adultery is another related discordant energy and master program on chart 6A. Burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. Sadism or cruelty, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. Jealousy or envy, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. Abuse, burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. Let's also include violence, because that we could include domestic violence, could be a relationship wound. So let's clear that. Burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If it's running as a soul program, let's ask to clear. And finally, unforgiveness or resentment. Burn the branches, the seeds, the roots. If they're running as soul programs, let's ask to clear. And any combination, any permutation within this group body where there's something to be worked with, resolved, released, please. Including just any generalized relationship karma that can be cleared without research. Just in a very broad spectrum way, let's ask to clear. Let's also ask to include any relationship debt karma that can be cleared without research. This may also have an ancestral component and really deserves a clearing in its own right, but in the context of relationships, debt karma refers to the notion that our past actions, especially those involving negative interactions or unresolved issues, can create a karmic debt that manifests as challenging or intense relationships in the present. It suggests that we are drawn to certain individuals to learn lessons, resolve past issues, or experience the consequences of our previous behaviors. If we neutralize the karma, forgiveness is more likely. In fact, Detzler referred to the practice of SRT itself as a form of advanced forgiveness work. And we're stopping? Okay, so where shall we get this clearing started, please? Where to? On chart 1. Clearing relationship wounds. And it looks like we're starting at the Queen of Life level on chart 12, Spirit Energy Programming. What comes up here, please? We're getting dysfunction of spirit by thought. That seems to come up a lot when we do these clearings, that program. We also have miasma of spirits. Now, recently we did clear miasma of the soul. That's a chart 11 program. I think Lord of Lords. That one is more personal, miasma of the soul. But miasma of spirit, I like to correlate that with the concept of spiritual amnesia, which Hay House author Colette Baron-Reid has spoken about in her work. So if we have spiritual amnesia, then that means we're unawakened. So that's interesting. So this could indicate that those we've been in relationship with haven't been awakened, that we've been the one who was woke, so to speak. Let's clear both of these programs, please. All levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 of our realities from inception to present time and into the future. Of all listeners now and in the future, clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. And again, any combination, any permutation within this group body where there's something to be worked with, resolved, released. And since miasma is a foreboding, there's something here about just the thought of the miasma may be crippling, frightening. And I'm also connecting that back to problems in a relationship, causing the negative polarity to pall or run, avoid, block, hide, deny, delay, all those things we like to say in SRT, obfuscate, restrict, or limit. It could also be contributing to a heart wall between two people, a split energy, because of course, if we go up in our head and problematize a person or a connection, then it occludes the third eye, and thereby it cuts us off from spirit, from our higher senses. And it also impacts our sense of timing and alignment within a couple. So we might just be entirely out of sync, even if we love the person, because we can correlate love with the soul. And if we're up in our head, then we're separating ourselves from love. And then that out pictures is creating conflict and separation potentially with our partner. I'm going to define both of these programs for the recording. Dysfunction of spirit by thought, please. As pure spiritual bodies, our thoughts could only be functional and good, for we lived in an absolutely pure state of being within the consciousness of spirit. There had to be a means whereby each being would have the potential of learning lessons in order to use and expand consciousness. Until this means was introduced, we were only in spirit consciousness and served as a cherub in the light realms. The potential for imperfect or dysfunctional thoughts was set up so the process of manifestation could occur for those beings who chose the incarnational path of learning. And then the second program, Miasma of Spirit. Each person before incarnating was created as a spirit being, complete, perfect, eternal, wise, intelligent, and indestructible. The potential for imperfection or miasma was necessary, or there could never be an extension of the spirit being into materiality. It would forever remain as a perfect potential within the body of spirit and nothing more. And we're stopping. Okay, where to next, please? Clearing on relationship wounds. We're going to chart 23 spiritual realms programs. And what comes up here? Personal soul package. Okay, that's productive whenever that comes up. So I'm associating that more with the soul and its past lives or lives lived in other dimensions. What else? The soul is lying. Wow. So that's interesting because I was picking up on that before. When we were on chart 12 and all of those clearing statements started coming through, I was getting a split energy between two people in a relationship context. It's the energy of excuses, bought time, and empty promises. With that said, if the soul is lying, in actual truth, perhaps these delay tactics were emanating from an old unconscious wound or trauma. While such a revelation might make us rethink our position on a past relationship, this doesn't necessarily also mean that the person has integrity. Indeed, sometimes a trauma response still has a face value, especially if the person is unawakened. Anything is possible with SRT. David Hawkins observed most people on average only go up the scale of consciousness 5 to 10 points per lifetime. So let's get both of those programs cleared, please. Clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities from inception to present time and into the future. Of all listeners to this recording now and in the future, clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. And now the 2 programs from Detzler's Soul Recreation. Personal soul package. Each soul has its own personal soul package. It is much like the persona of the human being, which often needs harmonizing. And now the soul is lying. There seems to be several levels at which the soul can be found to be lying or covering up things that it does not want to look at, as they may be considered by the soul to be too painful and thus better left alone. This is also one of the cross checks I make when all of the programs and charts have been cleared. And as I'm feeling into this, something else that's coming through is ways in which we often may not want to take accountability when we're in relationships, especially when our buttons are getting pushed and our programs are being triggered, or when there's been boundary violation. So sometimes lying can be a way of setting a boundary, albeit not the healthiest one, for lies and secrets also erode trust. Let's ask to clear any abdication programs that come up. So especially emotional, abdication of emotional responsibility. Let's ask to clear. And we'll see if we're actually formally brought to chart 17, where there are other abdication programs such as mental, spiritual, or physical responsibility as well. It's coming through here as in an emotional sense. So that could include forgiveness and self-forgiveness work. And that could include being the bigger person, admitting our faults, apologizing. That can sometimes be very difficult for someone to do, especially if it involves something like adultery, betrayal. But could also include things like addictions, substance abuse, pornography, gambling, etc. Okay, and we're stopping. Where to next, please? Clearing relationship wounds. Let's get the positive negative number before we proceed with this clearing. So the positive is now up to about 80. Okay, and what is the negative down to? About 30. Okay, where to next, please? Now we're guided to go to chart 16, Fall of Consciousness. What comes up on this chart, please? Separation from one. Okay, so more separation consciousness. What else? The loss of spiritual sight. Okay, that goes back to what I was talking about before, about when we were talking about dysfunction of thought and going up into the head and how that blocks the intuition and how that can outpicture as alignment issues. I mean, first splits our energy, right? But it also then outpictures as alignment issues between two people in a relationship. Often will just be totally out of sync. Okay, so let's go ahead and get both of those cleared. Clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3. All elevations, vibrations. All 7 or more realities. Clear from inception to present time and into the future. Again, of all listeners, now and in the future. Clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan, and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees. So we'll start with the first program here. Separation from one is the illusion of being cast out of heaven, which causes the belief that we have been separated from spirit and are eternally lost and forever damned. So we could be projecting that onto our person, right, in a relationship context. So if we get rejected, then we may feel like we have been eternally lost, separated, or damned from that person, especially if we've done something that either we believe or they believe is unforgivable, right? Okay, and then loss of spiritual sight. Falling into darkness has affected our spiritual sight, and to a large degree, we see only the outer world. Until complete spiritual sight is restored, we will continue to wander in the darkness of the incarnational world, paying obedience to the illusion of its false reality. So darkness here is also ignorance, and that goes back to what was coming through earlier on miasma of spirit, which was registering to me as a spiritual amnesia. And so that is a sort of ignorance, denial. And it's kind of like our experience is as though the 5 sense reality is all that there is and nothing more. And that serves many people. But for those receiving this clearing, you're going to be divine feminines. You're going to be positive polarities. You're the one who's woke. That's not going to be good enough for you. And so this might mean you honor your spiritual sight by moving on and choosing another soulmate. It's thought that we have between 5 and 15 other soulmates. Though in my experience, they may not all be romantic and may not all be incarnate. With twin flames, this is harder because we have to forgive them. No matter what they do or don't do, we have to forgive them. And we have to forgive ourselves too. Especially if we've, abdicated our power over to them or others in our lives. And we need to forgive our karmics too in order to fully learn the lesson. Especially if we're on the twin flame train. But in a karmic relationship context, in my experience, what can happen is if we have a falling out with someone, either we can't forgive them, so we try to heal and move on with our life, Or we forgive them, but then when they come back, we're not attracted to them anymore because we've learned the lesson. And so we're better off with another karmic or with a soulmate, or if we have a twin flame, then continuing to work on self-healing and spiritual development to step in and embody our consciousness more fully so that we can manifest twin flame union. Okay. Where to next, please? Okay. Yeah. What I'm guided to do here, I don't need to go to another chart to do this. It feels like what's happening, dysfunction of thought and the loss of spiritual sight. There's third eye blockage going on here. And something that can happen, we talk about this in Transforming Blockages, is the luciferic energies and implants that can embed in the third eye chakra. And what's interesting about luciferic implants is they can really reinforce the delusion. They can really amplify the discordance, and they can keep the negative polarity or divine masculine, really the distorted masculine, because if a masculine or negative polarity has these implants, they're going to be in their distorted masculine energy, independent of the gender. I'm just really talking in terms of energy. But yes, they will embed and influence our consciousness. And it's very common for the host to start to doubt and to believe in the illusion of separation rather than in the ultimate cosmic truth of oneness, of unity. Okay, so let's just go into the etheric body now. Third eye chakra blazing with green flame. We're going to use Mother Mary and Archangel Raphael, who serve on this ray, the fifth ray of science, healing, and technological advancement. Let's also call in the Elohim that initiate this energy center, Cyclopea and Virginia. Remove and bind here anything demonic, satanic, luciferic sources of all evil energies, attachments, entities, and plants, cords. Psychic hooks, psychic ties, soul fragments, binding agents, revoke permission, remove and bind, Kali, Astrea, Krishna, and beyond to escort these dark forces to their perfect place or to the light, please. Reclaiming any lost soul fragments now and cleansing. Isis, Osiris, please help us perform a soul retrieval. Reclaiming the fragments, cleansing, reintegrating them now with the soul through all levels, layers, bodies, minds, past, present, future, forward, and backward. Putting the third eye chakra back together again, continuing to blaze with green flame. Checking for negative energy cords between us and those around us, draining our energy down. So we can conceptualize this as anyone we've been in relationship with, whether we want them back or whether we want them in our life or not. The light knows where to go. This is a relationship karmic clearing, but to clarify, we're not going to clear away anyone or anything that you don't want to remove, or anyone or anything that still serves you. So we're taking that green flame, we're pushing the green flame through the cords, and they dissolve. The peskier ones explode. And we're also asking that this be done for our lineages. So we're going then into our lineage body, and we're releasing dark energy cords between them and those that were or are plugged into them. Anything that's ready to go, anything that's come up to the fore for release, blazing with green flame. And then we're going to go a step further and repair those third eye energy cords that are positive, the ones that serve us. So this could be between you and your beloved. As I've noted in other clearings, twin flames are understood to share docking cords at each chakra level. Blazing with green flame, checking for any cracks, fissures, tears repair, ensuring the cord is thick and vine-like, please, and thank you. Now, something else that will embed in the third eye are something called an archon implant. So let's go ahead and go in there and remove them. They look like octopi, if you can see them. If your clair seeing has come online, they look like octopus tentacles. If you're visual, but you might just sense they're there. And it's okay if you don't. But we can just dissolve them. We can use the green flame to do that. But another way of dissolving them is if you are able to put the left hand on your heart and right hand on top of it. And we're just going to send energy from the heart chakra up, the Sushumna channel up into the third eye chakra. And we're asking to dissolve them with love and light. And they go. And they go. And they go. We can also use Christ energy. Good. Now it's interesting. I mean, this is a relationship karma clearing. And so it would kind of be obvious that we would be focusing more on the heart chakra, but it seemed like we were guided to focus more on the third eye in this particular clearing. Let's see what else comes up. Let's get the positive, negative number now. We're up to about 90 on the positive. What is the negatives down to? About 15. Okay. Where to next? Relationship wounds. Okay, we're wanting to go into direct healing processes, colors, chart 7. Now we can ask to download and apply the whole chart. I'm going to do that. But specifically, what do they need to know on this chart? Because there can be a conscious component here. This is either a modality that would be helpful. It could be something you've already used, in which case it's a confirmation. But it also might be something you want to look into physically. Interesting. So we're getting work with a Merkaba, which is a modality I added to the chart from Transforming Blockages. The Merkaba, often depicted as a star tetrahedron, symbolizes the union of body, mind, and spirit, and is considered a divine light vehicle or tool for spiritual ascension. Archangel Metatron is associated with the Merkaba as the divine vehicle that carried Enoch to heaven, and is also linked to Metatron's cube, a sacred geometric form derived from the Merkaba. Metatron's cube is believed to contain all 5 platonic solids and represents the fundamental patterns of the universe. In SRT, both these sacred geometric forms resemble the power symbol, which appears on the cover of Detzler's book, Spiritual Healing. Let me download and apply chart 7, and then I'm going to set up a Merkaba remedy. So download and apply through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities, from inception to present time and into the future of all listeners now and in the future. Download and apply for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams committees. Since this can have a mind-body component, let's ask to download and apply also through every organ, action, or function. There's a lot of energy moving here, and I'm just feeling into what work I want to do with the Merkaba. As a multidimensional healing modality, the Merkaba is used to clear energetic blockages, balance the chakras, and promote overall well-being. In Transforming Blockages, it is used to create a powerful vortex of protection and healing. It also serves as a sacred meeting place for twin flame counterparts to connect in the higher dimensions. Okay, so Metatron's cube, a spiral above and below and from side to side, to release obstructions, obstacles from the third energy between us in each relationship context as appropriate. Clear static, resistance, confusion, anger, fear, judgment or glitch energy from and between us to clear. Good, and let's clear this at the soul group level. Extended, monadic, logoic, galactic, intergalactic, universal, multi-universal, please and thank you. And there's another special Merkaba healing technique I've learned to do, which would work better for a personal healing call. It involves placing you and your counterpart in the Merkaba, balancing the polarities of heaven and earth, masculine and feminine, and energetically merging your higher selves by circulating energy in a figure 8 pattern from your crown to their root and their crown to your root, and riding the Merkaba as though an elevator up into the higher dimensions. Interestingly, this ties in perfectly with what was coming through earlier in the clearing about a couple being out of sync because of split energy. By anchoring or gridding your higher selves into the 5th dimension, such an exercise helps give you and your counterpart better timing and alignment in the physical. If the exercise I described sounds intriguing or attractive to you, please book a personal healing call with me. All of the details for how to do so are listed beneath this video. And if you're a first-time client to the Lady of Shalott, you receive 25% off. Simply enter the code NEWCLIENT at checkout. Okay, where to next, please, for this clearing on relationship wounds, please? Okay, and we are going to chart 17. I wondered whether we were going to be brought there to clear some abdication programming, maybe. Let's see. Yes, and we are now we cleared abdication of emotional responsibility before. They also want me to clear abdication of mental responsibility. So we'll clear that, and I will define both mental and emotional responsibility from Detzler's Soul Recreation, just for the purpose of the recording. Anything else here on this chart? Belief in the necessity of meditation. Very interesting, because we were guided to do a little bit of third eye chakra clearing. So this program coming up now may suggest that the masculine may have been resisting meditation. Cultivating meditation as a spiritual practice is helpful for daily decompression and re-regulation, for grounding and integration. What I'm picking up on is that could have been a factor. Stress could have been a factor contributing to why some receiving this clearing, why some relationships weren't viable with the negative polarity. Okay, so I will define all 3 of these programs. Let me set up the clearing. Clear through all levels, layers, depths of chart 3, all elevations, vibrations, all 7 or more realities. Clear from inception to present time and into the future. Of all listeners to this recording now and in the future, clear the cellular level, the DNA, clan and the ancestors. Clear for the soul group, extended soul group, monadic level, all of our high self teams, committees, please. Okay, so I'll start by defining the first program that we cleared earlier. Abdication of emotional responsibility. Abdication of emotional responsibility may cause a person to blame others for his or her uncontrolled emotional responses to life. The emotions are the catalyst or creative energy that moves thoughts into being. Therefore, it is important to look at the emotions, take charge of them, and change them as necessary in order to produce a more harmonious expression. And what's also interesting is on this chart, there's lots of different forms of unwillingness programming, including, I noticed, the unwillingness to accept change. So that often will go hand in hand with abdication of emotional responsibility. So let's just throw that into, let's clear any and all unwillingness to accept change. A similar program also appears on chart 19, how to change your life. So let's clear both of those. Abdication of mental responsibility. When we abdicate our mental responsibility, we lack the understanding that we each create our own life and experiences through our mental patterns of thought and belief. Not realizing the importance of our thoughts, we allow them to run uncontrolled, thus creating chaos in our lives. Some people do not understand that their lives do not change after the clearing work is done, simply because they are not taking on the mental responsibility for bringing about the new and better patterns of thought and action. Yeah, that's where the necessity of meditation, especially mindfulness meditation, comes in, right? It's often not enough to do some subconscious clearing work and sit back and receive. To change our life, we also have to be willing to watch our thoughts and alter our actions. Indeed, it's the change and the action that creates the new reality we seek. But the other thing that's important to recognize here is that manifestation, 50% of it is clearing the subconscious. That's what we're doing here. But the other half of it is conscious work to change our life that we would do with the use of other modalities, such as NLP, EFT, and SE are some examples. Certainly we want to clear the karma that is influencing our ability to change what we're thinking and to normalize a different frequency and to be kinder to ourselves and start setting and maintaining better energetic boundaries. But conscious work is something we would also do with a therapist. And so many masculines don't want to talk about their feelings. In fact, they may have been brought up to suppress them even. But to process them, we need to feel them. And on the flip side, many feminines might complain. We might fall into a pattern of complaining about our woes, either to other feminines or, to our partner in a relationship context. So, that in and of itself is a way in which we might be secretly abdicating emotional responsibility, because as we just learned, assigning blame, whether it's to our person or to ourselves, some of us have that pattern to self-blame. But in my work as an SRT practitioner, I do like there to be a conscious component, and that's why I put some energy into connecting the dots. I could just clear these programs for you and send you on your way, but I want to keep this work balanced so that you can have a healing experience, but also learn something in the process. Okay, and then the final program we're clearing, belief in the necessity of meditation. In the beginning of our human path, the belief in the necessity of meditation is of vital importance, for that is the way to become still and listen to the still small voice within, the high self. However, once you are working with the high self and other spiritual committees, the moment that you pick up the pendulum, verify that you are clear and start the questioning process. You are in tune with that still small voice of Father within. From then on, meditation may be used simply to rest in silence and to renew your energy. My house self says that I am at all levels of awareness, alpha, beta, delta, theta, and spirit, the moment I tune into my high self to work for myself or someone else. So this is interesting. Mostly what this would mean is there's a resistance to meditating. This could be considered a form of meditation right here. So I'm not talking about you, the person receiving the clearing, but I am talking about other people you may be connected to in a relationship context, whom you may be cross-watching the clearing for, we could say. But what's also coming through here is sometimes when people think of meditation, they think of it needing to be received in a unit. Like we need to formally designate or schedule in a 30-minute or 1-hour meditation, before bed or when we wake up in the morning, and that's what meditation is. But that can limit what's possible. Because, even like in Buddhism, in Theravada Buddhism, for example, meditation can be experienced through ordinary life experiences. Like, for example, I'm even aware of this Buddhist monastery retreat where all they do is chop wood all day, which is interesting because it's a chore, it's a duty, but it can bring us into a flow state. And that's kind of what we're looking for, a flow state. So that might also be entered through exercise, hobbies, creativity, cooking, or just by sitting and re-regulating. I mean, I think a perfect example of a little Buddha is a cat. Because if you watch a cat, it pulls its energy in and it rests. It doesn't necessarily need to go into a deep sleep to recenter, though. Sometimes its little cat nap might last but a few seconds. And I feel like that's what Detzler is referring to there. And actually, while we're on that note, it occurs to me, I am going to do a pet clearing. I'm going to do that soon because I'd like to create a new service that only lasts a half an hour that would be lower priced. The reason why I don't offer half an hour live healing sessions is because you can't really accomplish much in a half an hour personal SRT session. I'd like them to at least be an hour if it's a live call. But it did occur to me, a pet doesn't have many programs to clear. So if you'd like to clear your pet, I can help you do that maybe in a half hour. It also occurred to me that if you'd like to have a personal space clearing for your property, home, or office, that I could also offer that as a half an hour session. To learn more about this new service, see the link beneath this video. Okay, Lords of Karma, God team. Is there anything else that wants to be included in this clearing today, please? And I'm getting a no. Okay, so we're just going to head right into our wrap-up mop-up on the topic of this clearing today, which was on the subject of relationship wounds. And I'm dowsing on this advanced SRT mop-up integration statement checklist. If this were a personal clearing, I would go through all the items on this list. And again, if you would like to book a live call with me, all of the details for how to do so are listed beneath this video. And the next clearing I'm going to add to my shop. Presently, I'm creating different ways that you can connect with me. So there's free YouTube clearings. I also have created a shop where I'm adding pre-recorded clearings that go a little deeper than what we do on YouTube. And they include a prep to work in the clearing. I'm not sure if I noted that with the first one I put up there. So the next one I'm intending to add to the shop is resolving relationship trust issues, because that will just go a little bit deeper with the relationship karma. So stay tuned for that as well. Okay, so working with the God team and its 200 plus charts on the other side of life, asking to clear anything we haven't known here to clear today, vis-a-vis relationship wounds. Asking to resolve 100% of 100% of all remaining programs on 100% of 100% of all remaining charts, asking to clear anything not on charts. Clear Alpha to Omega, ensuring our records are clean, cleared, organized, brought up to date to reflect the full benefits of this particular clearing today. Making any necessary tweaks, adjustments, changes to our pre-birth plan. Activate our divine blueprint, bringing on board more of our soul's original gifts to help serve us on this next leg of the incarnational journey, or for some among us, it may now be an ascension journey. Clearing any accidents, injuries, dementia we may have pre-planned, illnesses we may have pre-planned. Asking any ancestors who joined us that they be returned to the spiritual realms from which they emerged. Thank you, ancestors. We ask you to send forth your blessings. If there is any other mind-body work that wants to be included in this clearing today, brain cell restructuring, organs, glands, cells, tissues that wish to be treated, homotoxicology done. We did download and apply all of Chart 7, direct healing processes colors. So if there's more of that work that wants to be done, let's ask that that be done too. Work with the power symbol, which is loosely based on Stonehenge, gates or markers, please. Healing shapes, patterns from spiritual healing therapy. I may do separate clearings for both of those. The power symbol doesn't seem to come up often when I do a clearing, so it just does occur to me that we could just do a clearing on the power symbol and see what wants to come through. It is a powerful mind-body modality, and then another clearing for healing shapes and patterns from spiritual healing therapy. I won't be able to show you the images, unfortunately, because they're copyrighted, but I can just download the energy, and certainly if you have access to that book, you could follow along. Healing angels, healing committees to help assist. Let's ask to attune and calibrate this group body to their next best level for vibrant health and well-being. Could be 200 courage, 350 willingness, 500 love. 500 would be a good level since this is a relationship clearing, please. 600 peace, especially important if there is an illness we're trying to heal. Let's ask that this be done in 0 time, please. Let's also ask healing angels to conduct a head-to-toe search and clear, asking them to seek out, find out, locate the source of the affliction, source of the malady, source of the disease, source of the illness, even including the heart wall. That concept comes from the emotion code, which is a new system. And in fact, that too could be an interesting clearing topic that we could use SRT for, clearing the heart wall. If there's heart programs, that's an SRT concept that wants to be cleared at this time. Let's ask that those be cleared too. And any further heart chakra attunement activation. And we were guided to do work in the third eye instead of the heart, interestingly. Okay, rebalancing now the totality of the multidimensional healing system. Our physical organs, glands, cells, tissues feel more energized. They feel more filled with light. They feel more healed. Durga Amura, please clear the sacrum, the root, the legs, ankles, the feet, the space between the feet, the space beneath the feet. Clear and activate the chakras at the soles of the feet now and ground down onto Earth Star Chakra, or it may be onto grounding cord with Mother Gaia and Archangel Sandalphon. Sealing the records in, ensuring it is made permanent, resolving all the reasons why we might want to recreate anything we cleared here today or to create something similar in the future. Let's ask to clear that too. And let's ask to give infinite guarantee that this particular clearing will hold. Good. And now I'm going to end with 3 different chakra healing tones. As usual, we'll use for the root to help with the grounding, but I'm also going to use the tone for the third eye chakra since we did a little work there. So we'll use A as in say. So take a deep in-breath with me, and then on the exhale we can tone A together. Good. And then I'm going to do another tone for the heart. We didn't do energy work in that energy center. But since this is a relationship karma clearing, it makes sense to include that center as well. So the tone we'll use is Ah, as in Ma. And then finally, as usual, a tone for the root, UH. Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you.